12 shifting
Hello,
west,
beautiful
so does Media
people.
Day for the first time ever.
Welcome
Las
to
Vegas plays
Allegiant
host to the Big
Stadium in
12,
Las
and as you
Vegas,
can see,
Nevada.
the
This
shiny
is the
first
College
impression,
Football
wake
Live.
up, Las Vegas. Welcome into College
And
Football
welcome.
Live. I'm Victoria
We're on
Arby, and it is
ESPN2.
hard to
Today
believe
is a
that we
big
are
day. This is
just
College
7
Football
weeks
Live.
away from the start of the college football season. While it was an eventful season with more stories and changes than we have time for today's show, we're going to start things off in the Big 12 with day 1 of Media Day. And with that, we're going to bring in the rest of our team. We've got Sam Acho,
And
Tommy
we on
Bill, and we've also got
ESPN2 for this
Campbell
big
out
event.
in Las Vegas. But before we get to our friends here, we've got our Big 12 storylines to kick things off. Now, after adding 4 schools for the second straight year, the Big 12 now consists of 16 teams. This year's newcomers hail from the Pac-12, including Colorado, which is back in this conference for the first time since 2010. The league has seen 4 different champions over the last 4 seasons, with 7 different teams playing in the Big 12 title game during that stretch. The conference also sent a team to the playoff the last 2 seasons. Now, the race for this year's Big 12 crown is expected to be tight. ESPN Analytics project 9 schools with at least a 10% chance to make the conference championship, with Kansas being the favorite of the bunch. Now, another big story in the Big 12 is coming out of Oklahoma State. Their star running back, Ollie Gordon, was arrested last week on suspicion of driving under the influence. He released this statement yesterday. "I'm deeply sorry for the actions that led to my arrest on June 30th. I sincerely apologize to my family, everyone in our program, including our players, Coach Gundy, the staff, Oklahoma State University, and our fans." Regardless of the outcome of this pending investigation, I did not uphold the values I have for myself and the values of the OSU football program. I'm committed to learning and growing from this mistake, and I will work to earn back the trust of those who I have disappointed. Thank you. Here's Coach Gundy earlier today with Pete Thamel.
Well, Ollie's very fortunate that he was able to get out of that situation without anybody getting injured, getting hurt. And when they called me the next day, I shared that with Ollie. First thing I said, "Did anybody get hurt?" "No." "Well, you're lucky. You could have hurt somebody else, yourself, and then you deal with that the rest of your life." I have 3 boys, 29, 23, and 18, 19, and we worry about that all the time. And Ollie's going to play. And I shared this with Ollie. I said, "Ollie, we're in a time where you guys are essentially employees. You guys make lots of money to play this game. It's different than it was 5 years ago. And your punishment's going to be facing the facts." That's why we brought him here today. I said, "You're not going into hiding. You're going to face the music. You're going to have to stand up and talk to people and answer questions. And hopefully, more than football, you can learn from the situation you've been in. Because if not, then we have a real issue." But he's going to play, and I'm going to do what we think is best for Oklahoma State football, and I think it's best for Ollie to play. If there's any punishment, it's make him carry the ball 50 times in the first game. He's on a short leash right now, unfortunately, because I understand young people, we all make mistakes, but if we don't learn from those, then it's not really good. So we've had several conversations. We'll have more over the next month. I think that he understands how serious that situation was, and hopefully he can learn from it and move forward.
Sam, what are your thoughts on Coach Gundy's words on Ollie Gordon?
Well, I agree with Coach Gundy, especially with the fact that no one got hurt. This situation could have been extremely worse if someone would have been injured in an accident. So the fact that no one got hurt is a big deal. But part 2 is you can't rely on someone not getting hurt for you to be okay or to be not culpable. And so for me, I think Ollie Gordon has to learn from this mistake, part 1. But part 2, also listen to Mike Gundy and said, hey, he's going to get the ball. Ollie Gordon is going to be our bell cow for our team. And so, yes, someone got hurt, but don't rely on that being your answer, your excuse moving forward.
Yeah, Sam, he talks about making choices, and there's going to be consequences.
Ollie Gordon II has arrested last week on a suspicion of DUI.
Talk about being very fortunate that nobody got hurt. Also very fortunate nobody got killed.
And he said, "I'm deeply sorry for the actions that led to my arrest on June 30th. I know that's why I hope he will get himself out of this."
You are now as a college football player, the exposure that surrounds you, and I could not have phrased any better what Mike Gundy just stated right there. I thought that was a fantastic response because it is centered around accountability and being able to be responsible for your actions.
I think definitely starting first and foremost that nobody got hurt, or like you said, nobody got killed, and that accountability is key. And so we're going to shift gears to Ollie Gordon as a player. Ludes, last year at this time, Ollie Gordon's name was flying a bit under the radar, but now everyone knows his name and knows what he did last season. So what was the turning point for him last year?
It was following the blowout loss at home to South Alabama. And leading up to that game, Oklahoma State could not run the football. They were not a very good football team in the offensive line. And following that game, Mike Gundy brought his staff in and essentially pounded his fist on the table and says, guys, we're going to feed Ollie Gordon the football, but we're going to have to do it in a different way. This has been traditionally a zone, split zone team. And they said, wait, we got to start doing some things that can help out our offensive line too. Angle blocks, down blocks. So they went to more of a gap scheme, counter, power. And next thing you know, everything just started to explode. And he became this bell cow. And in doing so, the defense got better. All of a sudden, not as much pressure on quarterback Alan Bowman. And so I think the one thing going into this season is there's no secret anymore. Oklahoma State, Ollie Gordon, this offense is not sneaking up on anybody. But this was a coaching decision and a really good one by Mike Gundy following that loss to South Alabama.
I would even say a great coaching decision. Why? Because after that change after week 3, Ollie Gordon went on to win the Doak Walker Award for the nation's best running back. Talking about those first 3 games, I think he had a total of 19 carries. Well, game 4 against Iowa State, he had 18 carries for over 100 yards, and 100 yards again the next week, then 200, nearly 300. He went off, and so teams could not stop him. Why? Not only because of his size, but he got stronger as the games went on. It seems as if the teams who were facing him were growing weaker, weary, and more tired, and he kept on getting better as not only the season went on, but as each individual game went on. And so Ollie Gordon's going to be how this team wins or loses. He's going to be the bell cow, to Tom's point, for this offense, and the defense will lean on him if he can keep the ball in the offense's hands.
Sam, how do you see the defenses changing?
Yeah, I think it'll be a big change. And so specifically for this, if I'm a defender who's going to play Oklahoma State, I know now that Ollie Gordon is going to be the star of this team. You heard Mike Gundy just say, I'm going to give him the ball 50 times. And so what happens is this. Instead of, let's say you run a 3-4 defense, 3 defensive linemen, 2 outside linebackers, and 2 inside linebackers, really 4 linebackers, you might actually change your defense, add a new defense, and maybe put 4 defensive linemen. We used to call it the 40 defense. 4 defensive linemen, so 4 big guys, 2 outside linebackers, 1 inside linebacker, maybe even 2, and have less corners on the field, maybe 1 less safety on the field. Why? So you can load up the box and not let Ollie Gordon.
And this will last until
What's on now?
4.
For sure. And he is expected to speak today at approximately 5:30
At 4 o'clock. Let's see what else is coming up next. It's going to be NBA today.
Now, exactly.
Now playing.
Within the last year, plus from the American Pac-12 independent ranks. It's in Conference Commissioner Brett Yormark spoke earlier today.
11:30 p.m. Football Championship.
Got a lot of star power when you got the back, running back.
Wednesday.
Been building over the last.
Wednesday 8 p.m.
I think only on a think that way right now. We very different flag, but we
Friday.
4 corner scores. So I'm expecting great things from our schools this year. I think last year we underperformed a little bit, candidly. I don't expect that to be the case this year. Every week will matter, and as I said earlier, November, we will brand the month as a race to a championship. Because I think it's going to be really tight this year, and it will take until towards the end of the season for us to determine who will show up at AT&T Stadium for that championship game.
Every week will matter indeed. Now, Pete, with no Texas, no Oklahoma, what's been the feeling around day 1 of the Big 12 Media Day?
Well, Victoria, talking to coaches here today and Big 12 officials,
and we had a Big 12 conference add 4 new members. We have Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah has joined the Big 12 conference this time. But before that,
one thing to
Utah
watch,
and
one thing officials told me,
Arizona have used to
there's
be
some
in the
hesitation
Pac-12
about
conference.
Kansas State hosts
And Arizona State, I don't know where did he work, but that goes for Colorado.
Years in advance when they were in different leagues. You have to wonder if that, with those teams being contenders for the college football playoff, if that non-league matchup giving one of the contenders an extra loss comes back to bite the Big 12 at the end of the year.
They'll both be saying, just win, baby. Now, Sam, now that Texas and OU are gone, which team do you feel is best equipped to become the new face of the Big 12?
I think it's Kansas State. The reason why is not only did they win a Big 12 championship just a few years back, but this team was number 2 in scoring offense behind Oklahoma. They were number 2 in scoring defense behind Texas. The two teams that they were behind are both gone now. And so not only that, they're also returning who was a freshman phenom, Avery Johnson. He had 5 passing touchdowns, 7 rushing touchdowns. This dude is an animal. He's a beast. He's a freak. Pick a name, that's what he is. So you have him coming back, 19-year-old dominant force, along with a team that knows how to win.
You know, Sam, there's a variety of ways to answer this question, and I'm going to look at it from a what world we're living in perspective. And I'm going to go with Texas Tech. Because when you take a look at the name, image, and likeness structure, the collective, whether it's boosters, alumni support, facilities upgrades, stadium enhancements, what they have happening right now in Lubbock, that is a program that is primed to take the next step. So we're in a different era of college football right now. I think Texas Tech has put themselves in a position to be in the driver's seat.
I think both teams have continued to put themselves in positions to just win, baby. All right, I'm done, I swear, I promise. All right, we've got so much more coming your way on College Football Live. We'll hear from Utah head coach Kyle Whittingham, and Luke's tells us how Cam Rising could lead Utah in their first big conference push.
We'll be right back.